And taxpayers in Fulton County could be on the hook for millions of dollars in legal fees spent on the 2020 election interference case against President Donald Trump and more than a dozen others. A new state law allows for reimbursement in cases where the prosecutor is disqualified for misconduct.
Not the question of did it look like she was doing wrong, because that's already been settled by the appeals court. It looked like it. But for Trump and them to get the money, they're going to have to determine Fani actually did wrong, right? Because at this point, Trump and them, they don't get any money because there's no determination that Fani did wrong as of yet. But they're going to ask a court, okay, let's go there then, because we want our money back. Since you have to make that determination, let's go ahead and figure this out. And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today I am going to be the only creator, the only person. I looked at law and crime. I looked at the news. I'm going to be the only one that's going to bring you this information about why Fani Willis's job is literally on the line. Her entire legal career is on the line right now. In this video, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Not clickbait, not exaggeration. Fani Willis, as of now, going into 2026, will be fighting for her legal career. And Donald Trump and all of his Trump RICO co-defendants are the ones that are going to put her entire career on the line. You're going to see that, and you will be convinced of that during this video. At the base of what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that in Georgia, after Fani Willis was disqualified from the Trump RICO, Georgia passed a law called SB 244. Now, if you hear me say SB 44 during this video, I'm talking about SB 244, okay? They passed this law that says that if you've been charged with a crime and you're on trial, and then the prosecutor is removed from your trial due to misconduct on the prosecutor's part, then you can sue to get your lawyer's fees back. Okay? So you spending money to defend yourself, the prosecutor gets disqualified from your trial, and now you out of lawyer's fees and they get disqualified for their own misconduct. Now you can sue that county, for that prosecutor's county, and get your money back. Okay? There's a law that's in effect right now. This was passed in part due to Fani Willis, this law. All right. Well, there's a very important detail with that law that nobody else seems to be picking up on. I'm going to explain to you that detail, and I'm going to explain to you why not only might Fulton County be on the hook for tens of millions of dollars due to Fani's misconduct, but her very job could be on the line, and her law license could even be on the line going into 2026, y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're going to feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is going to go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
And taxpayers in Fulton County could be on the hook for millions of dollars in legal fees spent on the 2020 election interference case against President Donald Trump and more than a dozen others. A new state law allows for reimbursement in cases where the prosecutor is disqualified for misconduct and those charges are dismissed. 11 Alive's Grace King joining us live from the newsroom today. This law we're talking about, Grace, Senate Bill 244, went into effect this year. You have covered this case from the first indictment 2 years ago. Where does it go from here?
Well, now that all charges are dismissed, the criminal part of this case is over, but multiple attorneys tell 11 Alive they will be filing motions to recoup their legal fees. We went through campaign finance records to see how much that could cost.
Now, y'all, we're going to get back to the amount of money in question here in a second, but I'm about to bring y'all something that the other, even Law and Crime, which is a great channel, which is a great webpage, they're missing something that's very important. I looked through this article which is a good article. It even gave me the idea for today's video, but there's something missing, and I want you to know what that is. Now, let's take a look at the law. The law in question that allows for this reimbursement says the judge to whom, if you look right here, it says the judge to whom the criminal case was assigned shall consider such motion for reasonable attorney's fees and costs, and shall award such reasonable attorney's fees and costs as provided under this code section to such defendant. But the thing about this law is, it says in the event based upon a motion for the defendant in a felony or misdemeanor criminal case that the prosecuting attorney in such case is disqualified due to improper conduct on the part of such prosecuting attorney. Now, y'all, this is the key. Look at the appeals court decision. Here it says, accordingly, whether the evidence presented to the trial court adequately supported under the appropriate standard of review on appeal, its finding of the existence of an appearance of impropriety is not before this court. Instead, we must determine whether the remedy fashioned by the trial court for this undisputed finding of a significant appearance of impropriety was improper as contended by the appellants. For the reasons explained below, we conclude that it was, and therefore reverse the trial court's denial of appellant's motion to disqualify. So in other words, y'all, they found the appearance of impropriety in the appeals court, which is the controlling decision because the Supreme Court said that they're not going to deal with this. So the controlling decision for Fani was the appearance of impropriety, but the law says that that she had to have been disqualified due to improper conduct. So this is what's going to happen, y'all. Before we get into the money, okay, just ride with me for a second, because I'm going to tell you right now why Fani could lose her job. Just rock with me, okay? And this is real. This is not speculation. This is not pie in the sky. This is like something that is about to unfold in 2026. You're going to see it happen. This is what's going to happen. Trump and them, Trump et al., Trump and all his co-defendants, they are going to say, we want our legal fees repaid to us under the law SB 244. Okay. And the Fulton County government is going to say, well, SB 244 says that Fani, in this case, Fani has to have been disqualified due to improper conduct, impropriety, something she did wrong. But the appeals court did not find Fani did anything wrong. The appeals court found that there was the appearance of impropriety, but they specifically did not rule that there was impropriety. You see, it looked like something might have been wrong, but the appeals court did not touch whether something was actually wrong. So according to SB 244, the law, you don't get any money back because nobody ever found that Fani actually did wrong. So that's going to be Fulton County's reply. Trump and them they're going to have to take this to court, and they're going to say to the court, well, court, look, she was disqualified. We want our money back. So we need you to determine, did she do something wrong or not? You see, because all we have up until now is the appeals court saying it looked like it, but they specifically did not go there to actually rule on whether it was it or not. Now, once the court finds, if they were to find that there was impropriety, that Fani did do wrong, Trump and them, they get their money back. That's one. But also Fani, she did something wrong. Her being taken off the case, that's not even adequate sanction if she really did wrong. If she was out here paying Nathan Wade out of the county coffers and then he was circling the money back around to her, that's wrong. At that point, you talking about a bar complaint. You're talking about possible criminal charges on Fani. So all of this is going to have to go to a court to determine if they're going to give Trump his money back. They're going to have to find that Fani actually did wrong. So it's almost inevitable that a court is going to take up now, not the question of should Fani be on the Trump case, because that case is gone. Not the question of did it look like she was doing wrong, because that's already been settled by the appeals court. It looked like it. But for Trump and them to get the money, they're going to have to determine Fani actually did wrong, right? Because at this point, Trump and them, they don't get any money because there's no determination that Fani did wrong as of yet. But they're going to ask a court, okay, let's go there then, because we want our money back. Since you have to make that determination, let's go ahead and figure this out. And that's where Fani, because again, saying it one more time, she's a lawyer. If it's proven, if a court rules she had actually done wrong in this case, not just like you didn't do a good job, but you were actually doing something unethical, forget it. Forget your bar license, it's a wrap. Forget your job, it's a wrap. Everything's on the line for Fani now. The tables have actually 100% turned. She is about to go on trial for her job. Okay. Now let's see what kind of money we're talking about.
It's hard to quantify just how much the state v. Donald Trump has cost. How expensive would attorney's fees in a case like this be?
I can't even imagine.
The years-long legal battle reached every level of state court before Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee dismissed the whole thing. Emory law professor Kay Levine says those costs will add up, especially when you look at the lawyers tapped for this case.
My guess is that they are well compensated for the time and talent that they bring.
Campaign finance records show Save America paid more than $2.7 million in legal consulting fees to law firms helping President Donald Trump. One of their main recipients was Steve Sadow, who says he will be moving for attorney's fees and costs under Georgia code.
There was a lot of pretrial conversation. There were certainly some pretrial occasions where the judge called people into court. There were motions filed or briefs filed by the lawyers.
Those same databases show the Make America Great Again PAC spent another $3.7 million on legal consulting for defendants in the case and recount efforts. But ultimately, Judge Scott McAfee will have to decide what reasonable costs are and what's actually related to this prosecution.
In civil cases, when lawyers file claims for fees, they will submit a bill, but the judge doesn't necessarily give it to them. That does not give, like you can say, like, I spent 500 hours on this case, and the judge will say, like, well, that's all well and good, but you're going to get compensated for 100 hours.
Now, as written, the law says any reimbursement of legal fees would come from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, which receives state, federal, and local funding. The proposed Fulton County budget for next year is $39.4 million. But these attorney's fees, in theory, could equal a decent chunk of that.
So this news piece does point out that a judge has to approve the payout. Again, going back to my rant, okay, what is the standard for approval? The standard is that the prosecutor must have been found to have committed misconduct. And as of now, Fani has only been found to have appeared. Okay, I keep going back to this because this news piece should have explained this to you. Law and Crime article should have explained this to you. Fani has not been found to have actually committed misconduct. It's the appearance so far. So if the judge were to pay Trump and them out, it is a tacit or even explicit confirmation that Fani did commit misconduct. The judge is going to have to find that she committed misconduct. And at that point, well, she's a lawyer who committed misconduct. All kinds of different penalties are on the table at that point, depending on the situation. So this is something that this news piece is not going to go into, which are the ramifications for Fani.
Right now, political experts are weighing in on what can be learned from this case. We spoke to Emory political science professor Andra Gillespie.
There's going to be a lesson to be learned here about prosecutors making sure that their cases are airtight and actually also that they don't open up any possible door for people to be able to get cases thrown out on technicality. So I think, people are going to scrutinize and people will probably mention Fani Willis's alleged romantic entanglements as sort of a factor in the dismissal of the charges in this case. I think some people are going to look at this kind of based on their own partisan standpoint.
And you can check out all the coverage we have done on this case right now on our website, 11alive.com.
So y'all, going into 2026, you better believe this is going to be a developing story. I bet you Fani knows this, y'all. Even though the news is not telling you, even though Law and Crime seem to have missed it, Fani knows. And I bet Trump and them know as well. Now, will they be happy to just say, hey, give us our $10 million or $20 million back collectively, whatever that's going to blow a hole in the Fulton County budget, but whatever we collectively spent, just give us our money back. Again, I don't see how that happens. According to this law, this SB 44, I don't see how it happens without a determination that there was actual misconduct. And when that determination hits that there was misconduct, then you have all kinds of additional possibilities for punishment. Because so far, Fani's just been removed from the case. That's not even really punishment. That's just a remedy for the sake of the case and for the sake of the public's confidence in the judicial system. That's not a misconduct penalty to Fani. So if they do find that she committed misconduct, what's the penalty? Y'all follow me? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Drop a comment down below in the comment section. Do you think that the judge finds that Fani committed misconduct? If the judge doesn't find that, the payment doesn't go out under SB 44, then Trump and them need to appeal. Now the appeals court will have to take a look at whether or not Fani, and remember, I just read to y'all, they specifically said we're not even going there as to whether she did or didn't. We're just going to say it looks like it. We won't go any further into a finding as to whether it actually did or didn't happen. So they stopped short. But if the trial court on this SB 44 request for money for the attorney's fees, if they say no, she didn't, then Trump and them going to appeal. Then the appeals court is going to have to look back and say, okay, now we're going to have to really determine, not only does it look like it, but did she actually do something wrong? So y'all, this is, I thought it was over for Fani, y'all, but now it's just getting started. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments, but before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.